Brooklyn Federal Court, 1985. Joseph Pistone is 37 years old, straight-shouldered, calm gaze. As he walks to the witness stand, his footsteps echo. The courtroom is packed. FBI agents, prosecutors, journalists, all wondering the same question. How did a man who lived in the Mafia for 6 years survive as an FBI agent? Prosecutor Dan Radin adjusts the microphone. Mr. Pistone, would you tell the court your real profession? Joe takes a deep breath. I'm an FBI agent for 21 years. The room stirs. 3 men sit at the defense table. Bonanno family members, Sonny Black, Tony Mira, Lefty Ruggiero. Joe knows them. For 6 years, they had been his family. Lefty had been a father figure to him. Now Joe is betraying them. What did you do between 1976 and 1981? I infiltrated the Bonanno crime family under the name Donnie Brasco. Undercover operation. Lefty looks at him. There's pain of betrayal in his eyes. Joe can't say this. Sometimes Donnie Brasco felt more real than Joe Pistone. Quantico, Virginia, 1975. A year ago, everything was normal. Joe was teaching at the FBI Academy. He'd come home, have dinner with his wife Maggie, take care of his 3 daughters. Normal American family. White picket fence house, 2 cars, a dog. Director Patrick Colgan called him in. Special assignment, Joe. We're looking for volunteers. Risky but important. Joe waited. Infiltrating organized crime. Deep cover. Long term. Maybe 2 years, maybe more. Your family won't be with you. You'll be someone else. Joe Pistone will disappear. Do you accept? Joe thought of his wife, thought of his daughters. He used to make them crepes on Saturday mornings. Then he thought of the damage the Mafia caused. Drugs, gambling, extortion, murder. I accept. Are you sure? There's no going back. You'll become Donnie Brasco. You'll remain Donnie until Donnie dies. I'm sure. He didn't know. This decision would change his soul. Identity construction. The next 6 months, they built the Donnie Brasco identity. Fake documents, fake past, fake criminal record. Joe Pistone slowly began to disappear. He grew his hair, grew a mustache, changed his style of dress. He changed how he spoke, how he walked. For months he rehearsed. He tried to forget he was an FBI agent. He had to forget. Otherwise, he'd be caught. The time came to say goodbye to Maggie. How long will it take, Joseph? I don't know. They said 2 years. What if you get caught? Joe couldn't answer. The Mafia kills undercover agents. They torture them to death. The girls will ask about you. What should I tell them? Tell them business trip. Maggie held back her tears. Joe knew nothing. He only knew he had to go. First contact, New York, 1976, September. Joe is now Donnie Brasco. He rented a small apartment in the Lower East Side. Bought an old Oldsmobile he was living in. Bonanno family territory. He was waiting for them. Nothing happened the first week, same the second week. Donnie began to wonder. Maybe wrong approach. Then he met Lefty at Jilly's restaurant. Benjamin Ruggiero, 51 years old, gray hair, gaunt face. Soldier in the Bonanno family, 30-year Mafia member, good man, loyal man, but unlucky man. Never made big money. Lefty sat at the bar, drinking alone. Whiskey, straight. His face showed life's weariness. Donnie sat next to him. Whiskey, straight. Lefty looked at him. I don't know you. I'm new here. Came from Florida. What kind of work do you do? Jewelry business. Lefty's interest increased. What kind of jewelry? The kind that falls off trucks. Lefty smiled. This kid's a criminal. Real criminal. What's your name, kid? Donnie Brasco. I'm Lefty, Lefty Guns. They shook hands. Joe's heart raced. First contact made. Operation started. That night, Joe wrote a report. First contact established. Trust-building process began. He didn't write one thing. He had liked Lefty. At first sight, old, tired, lonely man. Something stirred in Joe. What he didn't know was that he would form a real friendship with Lefty. Then he would sell him to the FBI. He would cause him to receive the heaviest sentence. How could these two things be possible at the same time? He didn't know yet. He would learn painfully. Building trust, 1976. The next 3 months, Donnie watched Lefty in his daily life. They met every evening at Jilly's. Lefty would talk. Donnie would listen. The old man was lonely. His wife had died of cancer. His son died from drugs. Only the Mafia family remained. "This business is tough, kid," Lefty would say. "Everyone sells you out. Your friends sell you out. Your brothers sell you out. The only thing you can trust is money. Even that's sometimes not enough." Donnie listened. Not as FBI agent Joe Pistone, but really listened. Lefty's pain was real. His loneliness was real. The old man was clinging to him, trying to fill the father figure void. "You're different, Donnie. You're young, but you understand. You come from the streets, that's important. College graduates can't understand this business." Joe's heart sank. He really was a college graduate. He was an FBI agent. The thing Lefty hated most. Lefty began to trust. He gave him small jobs. "Take this package, bring it to this guy. If they ask, you don't know me." The packages were small. Joe didn't know what was inside. He didn't want to know. The FBI wanted reports. "What's in the packages, Pistone?" "I don't know. I can't open them. They'd get suspicious." "Find out. That's why you're there." Joe was uncomfortable. The FBI was pressuring him. But if he moved too fast, he'd ruin everything. Patience was needed. December 1976. Lefty invited him to real business. "There's a truck full of cigarettes. We'll drop it. You'll distract the driver. I'll handle the back." Donnie's heart raced. Real crime. Theft. The FBI had been waiting for this moment. But Joe felt fear. What would happen if they got caught? Real prison or operation shutdown? "I'll do it," he said. There was no other choice. Midnight in Brooklyn. He waited for the truck. Lefty was hiding in the back. The truck came. Donnie stepped in front of the driver, pretending to ask for help. "My car broke down. Can I use your phone?" The driver stopped, got out. Meanwhile, Lefty climbed onto the back of the truck. In 10 minutes, he unloaded 20 cases of cigarettes. The truck driver never noticed. Job done. Easy, fast, clean. Donnie was amazed. Lefty was an expert at this. "Good job, kid. You're the right man. You'll go far in this business." That night, Joe wrote a report. Participated in first crime, truck theft. Lefty's trust increased. What he didn't write, committing crime gave him adrenaline, gave him excitement. An FBI agent shouldn't feel this, but he did. Lefty began teaching him the rules of the Mafia. First rule, never talk to cops, never. Second rule, trust no one except family. Third rule, business comes before everything. Family comes after business, wife comes after business, children come after business. Joe was taking notes. Mentally. This information was gold for the FBI, but Lefty's display of sincerity also affected him. The old man was really trying to teach. Fourth rule, loyalty. This is the most important. You'll stay loyal until death. Those who betray die. The words pierced into Joe. Those who betray die. He was betraying. He was betraying every day. Lefty, the Mafia, the friendships he'd made. He was betraying for the FBI, January 1977. Lefty decided to bring him into bigger jobs. You'll meet my boss, Sonny Black. Good man but tough. You'll show him respect. Dominic Napolitano, nicknamed Sonny Black. 40 years old, tall, handsome, capo. Lefty's boss. Powerful man in the Bonanno family. Ambitious man. Sonny studied Donnie for a long time. You're Lefty's friend from Florida. Yes, sir. You do jewelry business. Yes, sir. What family do you come from? Dangerous question. Joe was prepared. I had no family. I grew up in an orphanage. I grew up on the street. Sonny nodded. Good. Family ties sometimes create weakness. You're only loyal to us. That's better. Sonny tested him, gave him small tasks. Carrying money, delivering messages, checking on men. Donnie succeeded at all of them. Sonny was pleased. You're a good man, Donnie. Lefty's raising you well. Soon you'll be ready for big business. Months were passing. Donnie Brasco was becoming more real than Joe Pistone. Every morning he saw Donnie in the mirror. He thought like Donnie, talked like Donnie, felt like Donnie. Meetings with the FBI decreased. He met once a week, gave reports, left. The FBI world was getting distant. The Mafia world was getting closer. When Maggie called, he had trouble talking. How are you, Joseph? I'm fine. But who was Joseph? He was having trouble remembering. When will you come back? I don't know. He really didn't know. When would this operation end? The girls miss you. I miss them too. Did he miss them? He wasn't sure anymore. When he hung up the phone, he felt like a stranger. Home, family, normal life felt foreign. The Mafia world had become home. March 1977. Lefty gave him news. Tony Mira was killed. There was a problem in the family. Tony was wrong. They handled it. Joe was shocked. He knew Tony Mira. Young man, handsome, cheerful. Why was he killed? Too many questions. Asking too many questions is dangerous in this business. Tony asked too much. He got his answer. There was coldness in Lefty's voice. This old, kind man considered murder normal. Joe understood. In the Mafia world, death is ordinary, daily, inevitable. You're upset, Lefty observed. Normal. The first death is always hard. You'll get used to it. It's part of this life. If you don't accept it, you can't live this life. Joe nodded. He pretended to accept it. But something changed inside him. He understood the real danger. These people kill. They really kill. He's among them, trying to appear as one of them. What if one day he's asked to kill someone? What if his identity is revealed? What if Lefty has to kill him? That night he couldn't sleep. For the first time, he felt real fear. Not just the fear of getting caught, fear of death, and worse, fear of being killed by those he loved. Acceptance. 1978. 2 years had passed. Donnie was now part of the family. Lefty trusted him. Sonny Black was involving him in big jobs. Other men showed respect. The FBI plan was working perfectly. But Joe Pistone continued to disappear. Sonny gave him a new assignment. Big job, Donnie. You're going to Miami. You'll check the connections there. We need to set up a drug route. You're from Florida. You know the place. Joe's heart tightened. Drugs. Real drug business. The FBI had been waiting for this, but Joe wasn't ready. Not yet ready. Sonny, I'm in the jewelry business. I don't know drugs. You'll learn. In this family, everyone does everything. There's jewelry and there's drugs. Money is money. Doesn't matter where it comes from. Joe couldn't object. If he objected, they'd get suspicious. He accepted. What do I need to do? We have men in Miami. Colombian connection. You'll mediate. You'll provide trust. They know you because you came from Florida. Lie. Joe had never lived in Miami, but Donnie Brasco's fake identity had a Miami background. This detail was becoming important now. He went to Miami. The FBI had given permission. This is an opportunity, Pistone. You'll learn the drug network. You'll see the whole system. But Joe was uncomfortable. He was going too deep. It was becoming too real. In Miami, the Colombians were waiting for him. Big villa, pool, security guards, serious money, serious business. Joe's stomach dropped. Donnie Brasco, they greeted him. You came from New York. Yes, Sonny Black sent me. Good. We know Sonny, reliable man. Are you reliable too? Of course. They showed him drugs, cocaine, dozens of kilos. Joe had never seen this much drugs in his life, not even in FBI operations. We can send 2 tons a month. Quality is perfect. Price is $15,000 per kilo. Joe calculated. 2 tons, $30 million a month. Over $300 million a year. Massive money. Sonny will decide. I'm just the messenger. Good, but you'll be a decision maker too. Sonny is preparing you for big business. We know this. Joe was surprised. He didn't even know this himself. Was Sonny promoting him? He returned to New York, reported to Sonny, told him about the Colombians' offer. Sonny was pleased. Good job, Donnie. You're now a big businessman. Maybe you'll be capo soon. Capo, rising in the mafia. Joe was confused. This wasn't in the FBI plan. He wasn't supposed to go this deep. Maggie called. There was desperation in her voice. Joseph, it's been 2 years. The girls don't recognize you anymore. The youngest looks at your photo and asks, who is this? Joe's heart ached, but he thought of Donnie Brasco. Donnie had no family. Donnie was alone. Joe had made thinking about Donnie a habit. I know, Maggie, but the job isn't finished yet. When will it end? Tell me when. I don't know. Nobody knew anymore. Not even the FBI. I can't wait any longer. The children are looking for their father. If you're not here, what will I tell them? Joe couldn't answer. He hung up the phone, then he called Lefty. Lefty was his real family now. Lefty understood him. Sonny planned a big job. Brinks truck, armored car. It had $2 million inside. The biggest job, Donnie. If we succeed, we'll all be rich. Joe informed the FBI. Big heist being planned. I don't know the date and location yet. Find out. Learn every detail, but don't participate in the crime. Just gather information. How could Joe not participate? He was now a full member of the family. If he backed out of the heist, they'd get suspicious. The heist day came. Joe was in the car following the truck. Sonny and 3 men stopped the truck, took the money. Joe just watched. He participated in the crime, but wasn't a trigger man. Maybe the FBI would accept that. The job was successful. $2 million stolen. They divided it. Joe's share was $200,000. The FBI asked, "Where's the money, Pistone?" "I got it. I'm keeping it as evidence." "Don't use that money, it's crime money." Joe didn't use it, but the money gave him power. It provided status in the mafia. Donnie Brasco was now a rich man. At night, when he looked in the mirror, he no longer saw JoePistone. Donnie Brasco was looking at him. Mafia man, criminal, not a killer yet, but he could be soon. The FBI asked, "Are you okay, Pistone? How's your psychological state?" "I'm fine." Lie. He wasn't fine. He was disappearing. He was forgetting who he was. Time to end the operation is approaching. Enough information has been gathered. When? Soon. Maybe 6 months. 6 more months. Could Joe last 6 more months? Could he live as Donnie for 6 more months? Lefty got closer to him. Donnie, you've changed. You look different. How different? I don't know. More closed off. Quieter. Is there a problem? Joe was scared. Was Lefty getting suspicious? No problem. Big jobs are just tiring. Maybe you're not ready for big jobs. Maybe you should stay with smaller jobs. No, I'm ready. I'm ready for everything. Lefty looked at him for a long time. I hope so, Donnie. Because after this point, there's no going back. Once you enter big business, you can't get out. You're in this business until you die. Do you understand? I understand. But Joe didn't understand. There was an exit. The FBI would provide an exit. New identity, witness protection, new life. He could get out. But what about Lefty? Could the old man get out? He had been treating him like a son for 2 years. Joe was going to sell him to the FBI. Lefty would die in prison. Was this fair? Joe tried not to think. If he thought he'd go crazy, he just focused on doing his job. He was an FBI agent. He was doing his duty. But at nights, he thought about Lefty. The old man's face, his shock when he learned of the betrayal, his pain. He couldn't sleep. End of operation, 1981. 5 years had passed. Joe was now completely Donnie Brasco. Lefty treated him like a son. Sonny was planning to make him capo. He had a respected place in the Bonanno family. He was a trusted man. The FBI decided to end the operation. Enough information gathered, Pistone. Files ready on 150 criminals, court evidence sufficient, time to exit. Joe's heart tightened. Exit meant betrayal. It meant selling Lefty. It meant ending 5 years of friendship. How will I get out? They'll get suspicious. Fake arrest. We'll pretend to arrest you. We'll say you're wanted for another crime. That way your identity is protected. What about after? What if they learn the truth? The FBI didn't answer. They would definitely learn the truth. Then Joe's death would be certain. Witness protection was the only solution. The last day came. He met Lefty at Jilly's. Last time. The old man was as always, smiling, joking, warm. Donnie, there's big business tomorrow. Sonny will talk to you. Your becoming capo is confirmed. Joe's throat tightened. He wouldn't be here tomorrow. Tomorrow, Donnie Brasco would disappear. JoePistone would return. Lefty, I want to tell you something. What is it, my boy? Joe was stunned. He had called him my boy, with real love, real affection. How could Joe sell this man? Nothing. I just wanted to thank you for what you taught me. Lefty smiled. You're a good student. I'm proud of you. That night, Joe couldn't sleep. Last night. Last time he'd sleep as Donnie Brasco. Tomorrow he'd wake up as JoePistone, as an FBI agent. Morning came. The FBI came, as planned. They knocked on the apartment door. FBI, open the door. Joe opened the door. They handcuffed him. You're under arrest. What charge? Bank robbery in Florida. You were wanted. Perfect fake story. Joe came from Florida. He had a criminal record in his past. It looked logical. They took him away. Lefty got the news, immediately came to the FBI building, waited at the door. He wanted to see Donnie. As they brought Joe out, Lefty ran. Donnie, what's happening? Florida business, Lefty, old job, I'll handle it. I can bring a lawyer. If you need money, I'll give it. Joe's eyes filled with tears. Lefty really loved him, really like his son. He would give money, bring a lawyer. He would try to save him. No need. It'll be short. A week or two. Last lie. Last fake promise. They would never see each other again. 2 weeks later, the news came out. FBI agent lived in Mafia for 6 years. Donnie Brasco, really Joseph Pistone. Biggest undercover operation in history. The Mafia went into shock. Donnie Brasco was an FBI agent. He had fooled everyone for 6 years, learned every secret, recorded every crime. When Lefty heard the news, he collapsed, completely collapsed. He froze in the cafe where he was sitting. He looked at the photo in the newspaper. Donnie's FBI identity, Joseph Pistone. No, he murmured. No, this isn't true. But it was true. 6 years of friendship was a lie. 6 years of love was a lie. The man he loved like a son was an FBI agent. He sold him out. Sonny Black went crazy. Find that bastard, kill him immediately. But Joe was protected now. In witness protection program, new name, new address, new life. He couldn't be found. The Mafia would hold someone responsible. They held Lefty responsible. You brought him, you trusted him, you were fooled, your mistake. Lefty tried to defend himself. I didn't know. How could I know? How could I tell he was an FBI agent? You should have known. That's your job. You've been in this business for 20 years. You were experienced, but you were fooled like a child. They punished Lefty, threw him out of all business, cut his money, took his respect, expelled him from the Mafia family. Lefty was left alone, completely alone. No family, no money, no friends. His only friend was Donnie. He turned out to be an FBI agent. The old man locked himself in his house. He wouldn't go out, wouldn't talk to anyone, just sat, thought about Donnie. Joe's conscience. Joe wasn't happy in his new life. He was safe but not happy. Every night he thought about Lefty, the old man's face, his shock when he learned of the betrayal. Maggie had returned to his life. His daughters had returned, but Joe felt like a stranger. He had been Donnie for 5 years. He had forgotten Joe Pistone. How do you feel, Joseph? Maggie would ask. I'm fine. Lie. He wasn't fine. He was empty inside. There was guilt. There was regret. Did you love those men? Did you really love them? Joe couldn't answer, because the answer was clear. Yes, he had loved them. Especially Lefty he had loved very much. Real love, not fake. It's part of the job, he murmured. It couldn't be any other way. But he knew it could have been another way. He could have protected Lefty, could have given less information to the FBI, could have saved the old man. He hadn't saved him. He had sold him. He had betrayed the man who loved him with fatherly love. How would he pay this price? Court witnesses, 1985. The trial lasted 4 years. Joe at the witness stand every day, questions every day, memories every day. 6 years of undercover life being told piece by piece. Mr. Pistone, what did Lefty Ruggiero teach you? He taught me Mafia rules, loyalty, silence, family devotion. Did he love you like a son? Joe paused. Yes, he loved me. Did you love him? Longer pause. That was part of my profession. Lie, he really had loved him, still loved him. Defense attorney attacked. Mr. Pistone, you committed crimes for 6 years. You stole, you robbed, you participated in drug trafficking. You're a criminal too. I was carrying out FBI duty. Did the FBI order you to deceive innocent people? Did the FBI order you to break an old man's heart? Joe couldn't answer, because the FBI had ordered none of it. Joe had done these things himself. As Donnie Brasco, the trial concluded. Sentences came heavy. Sonny Black, 20 years. Tony Mira, 15 years. Lefty, 12 years. When Joe heard Lefty's sentence, he collapsed. 12 years. The old man was 63 years old. He'd be 75 when he got out of prison. If he could get out. Lefty looked at Joe in the courtroom. looked at him for the last time. There was no hatred in his eyes. There was disappointment. There was pain. "Why?" his eyes asked. "Why, Donnie?" Joe couldn't answer, because there was no answer. He didn't know why either. 1994. 9 years later, news came. Lefty died in prison. Heart attack. 70 years old. Alone. No visitors. No letters. Nothing. When Joe got the news, he cried. He cried for the first time. For the first time in 9 years. Lefty was gone. The old man was gone. The only person who truly loved him was gone. Nobody came to his funeral. The Mafia had rejected him because he trusted an FBI agent. Joe wanted to go, but he couldn't. There was a security risk. Lefty was buried alone in an unnamed cemetery in Queens. Only numbers on the stone. No name, nothing. Joe couldn't pull himself together. He started drinking heavily. He'd sit at home, think and drink. Maggie couldn't stand it. "Joseph, this can't continue. Either you get treatment or we separate." "What good is treatment? Will Lefty come back?" "Lefty was your job, Joseph, your duty, nothing else." "Lie!" Joe shouted. "Don't lie. He was like my father, like my real father. I killed him with my own hands." Maggie cried. "You were an FBI agent. You did your duty. Criminals were caught. Justice was served." "What justice? Lefty was innocent. He was just an old, lonely man who didn't harm anyone. I ruined him." Identity crisis. Joe no longer knew who he was. Who remained? FBI agent or Mafia man? Both can't exist at the same time, but he was both. He'd look in the mirror and see Donnie, Lefty's son Donnie. Then he'd see Joe, FBI agent Joe. Which one was real? Both were real, but which one was more real? He went to a psychiatrist. "You're experiencing identity confusion, normal. Seen after long undercover operations." "How does it get better?" "Time, patience, acceptance." "Accept what?" "That both are you. Donnie Brasco is you. JoePistone is you. You have to learn to live with both." Trying to live years passed. Joe tried to live. He reconciled with Maggie. He tried to care for his daughters. He tried to build a normal life. But at nights, he still thought about Lefty. He could hear the old man's voice. "You're a good boy, Donnie. I'm proud of you." Was he sorry? He asked himself. Was the FBI operation right? Hundreds of criminals were caught. The Mafia took a hit. Justice was served. But Lefty died. Died alone. Died in prison. Was this justice? Joe didn't know the answer. Still doesn't know. Joe is 79 years old, retired, calm, but still thinking. Thinking about Lefty, thinking every day. Has it ended or is it still continuing? Is Lefty's spirit still following him? Divi tuk stoshi devon pad smit. Joe doesn't know. He just lives. Lives day by day. Lives with regret. Lives with guilt. He broke Omerta. He violated the law of silence. He continues to pay the price. He pays every day. He'll pay for life.